Okay, hi. I'm here for a Raw review from Columbus, Ohio. 3 hours once again, and surprisingly, this Raw was not all that bad. Like I said, surprisingly, I thought it was easy to sit through. It flowed very nicely. I thought everything was placed in its right spot. Although I did find overall a good show. I'm not gonna complain like most weeks where it's like it's too long, it's too this. I thought last week's show, which I didn't do a review on, I thought that was good just because of the crowd. They really kept the show going and kept it on a high feed. And this week's show, although the crowd wasn't as hot, I thought that the product they put on was good, and I thought the show had a nice flow to it, and it went by fairly quick compared to most weeks. But the beginning, like I was going to say, I wasn't a big fan. I don't know, if something with Randy Orton, Dolph Ziggler, and Alberto Del Rio, three of them together for me just doesn't work. I can't sit through, I don't know. It seems like Orton and Ziggler don't have the best chemistry together. I thought the match was just whatever, another typical Orton match. But if it was my decision, I would have put that 8-man tag first and kept these guys for more of the middle of the show, considering that match really, I think, was the best thing on that show, and I'll just get to that in a second. Randy Orton and Dolph Ziggler was okay. Orton won. Tag team match, typical. You got two guys from one team against two guys from the other team, and Alberto Del Rio and Ziggler won, which I think the typical WWE formula would mean that this coming Sunday, the winner would be Team McFoley, just from typical, how WWE works by putting the heels over on Raw, but on the pay-per-view you do let the faces win. Then we had the whole scandal thing. There's a lot of Dolph Ziggler back on the show. I think at least the first 45 minutes was just Dolph Ziggler, so he really got showcased a lot on this show. But he came out, Vicky, with the whole cell phone thing. I thought it was funny, really, but I think they're really hinting more towards now the whole thing being a hoax because, I think Vince really started that train going, and then JR kept saying, it has to be a setup, it has to be this. So I do think now, obviously, I think it's obvious now, that it's all just a big blackmail. Good editing job by someone. And Cena comes out, punches Ziggler's big AJ slaps him. And yeah, that's it. And then, non-title match. Big Show versus William Regal. Cool to see Regal back wrestling on somewhat of a basis. Although he did get beat up badly. His chest got really lit up. Which is always a cool thing about Regal. I remember his matches with Benoit. Benoit would just chop the shit out of him, and you could just see the welts form within minutes. I thought that was a good thing for Regal to really show that the wrestling isn't fake and that it's really a painful sport. And yeah, anyways, Big Show won. And post-match, whatever, Sheamus makes the save. And number one contenders, Layla versus Kaitlyn. Now, I remember I said in my last video that there's only, 4 divas left, really, in the WWE. You have Natalya, you have Eve, you have Layla, and you have Kaitlyn. Those are the 4 that get used, and Natalya barely gets used. You really have 3. And you can only see so much of these 3 mixed together, but I'm glad they kept it, at a 2-minute match and just move on to the next piece. And then we had a very memorable moment of Jerry the King Lawler coming back. He did a nice speech. JR and Cole both had their, little hug it out moment with King. It was really, really moving speech. Even watching King come to the ring, you could tell that it was just so overwhelming for him to have that sort of reaction and that respect from the WWE universe. And then Punk came out, and I think everyone was calling it already because it's just the heel thing to do, just interrupt the hero. But I do think, and this I think could be a whole video in of itself, but Punk, I feel, whether it was Punk, whether it was the creator, whether it was Vince McMahon, Punk went too far, I think, on his little spiel on mocking the heart attack, hinting towards death. Just, first off, the package that WWE did was just, I think, uncalled for by really showing footage of King getting treatment. There's only some, you got kids watching this, they do target their stuff towards kids, and I don't know if you want I don't know if any parent wants to have their kids see that. And even for myself, a 22-year-old person, just watching that is really weird. Not very necessary at all. But then to constantly just poke at the situation, whether King is okay or not, it's just like, he's back, just move on from it. There's no need to really use it as a heat mechanism. Like, I take Rey Mysterio and Eddie Guerrero, it's just like the same thing. They kept bringing it on, they tied it in the storyline. What's done is done, and it's really time to move on. I know you pay your writers a whole lot of money, but for them to really use a real life situation, a real dangerous situation, and try making the most light out of it as possible, I just don't feel that it's the best thing to do. But yeah, and then Heyman mocking having a heart attack. At first I thought they were going to do an angle, but then you kind of got a little hint that it was just a big mock. Not very cool at all. Just very, very disappointing to really be a part of that and to say that, I watched this. And I honestly, as bad as it sounds, I hope some sort of news people catch this and they just bury WWE for being like, the pathetic people that they are. That's really what I hope to see out of this whole promo. But Foley came out, really let his true feelings out, which I think what a lot of fans were thinking at the same time. And he says that the WWE Universe will decide his last person in the team. And I was hoping for some big names, but later on in the show, that was not the case. And Brad Maddox was backstage preparing himself, and then was the 8-man tag. And I thought this match was great. I had no problem with this match at all. I thought all 8 guys looked really good. Tyson Kidd looked good. Gabriel looked good, especially. And just a very, very, very fun match on Raw from 4 guys that should be getting a lot more credit, especially Tyson Kidd. And I was tweeting about this. Like, this guy is so good, and for him to be used sporadically through Raw, like within the months, it's not good at all. You have so much talent, you might as well utilize him to this fullest ability. I don't know. And what happened next? Wow, there's a lot of promos. I'm trying to read all this little recap thing. Miz backstage, Antonio Cesaro and R-Truth, whatever. We get a flashback of Brad Maddox's promo with $1 million contract. You get a bunch of recaps, and then Ryback versus Maddox. Brutal match. I think Maddox starts bleeding from the mouth. And it was just... Ryback is such a bad worker, but he's so awesome. I don't know why. This guy is so cool. He'll feed me more. And he looks like my personal trainer that I had a couple months ago. I was going to take a picture of him, but he's bald, he's jacked, he's got a little beard. Like, I swear, he looks exactly like the Ryback. And but obviously, I thought there would be some sort of swerve. Ryback would lose, but just a beating Maddox took, I'd say, of a lifetime, and that was it. Sheamus versus Otunga. This is where I kind of left. And I got water, I came back, and the match was over. I'm assuming Sheamus won with a bro kick. And, yeah, Sheamus just says, you're next, Big Show, and Big Show punches William Regal in the jaw, broken jaw, and some concussions. But I think he punched Regal in the stomach like 10 times, but they had no mention of any broken ribs, but he punched him in the face once, and it's like a concussion and a broken jaw. How does that work? I don't know. Then was Daniel Bryan and Kane backstage. I thought this was a good promo. It really showed the story they're trying to tell of Daniel Bryan being jealous that Kane has another partner. Just a very comedic promo, no problem with it at all. Then the tag match, just Miz all fired up in this. Really saw a different side of Miz, more energetic than the same old Miz. But we'll see how this face turn goes. I could see him turning on Team Foley, but I really don't. I think they're going to try sticking him for a while. But it was an okay match. Then Cena versus, CM Punk. Match was good. It was alright. And the finish was surprising, considering that Cena won not clean, but he did pin CM Punk. And at the end, you had a little tug of war with Ryback and Cena. Punk's there right in the middle. That's my belt. Good way to finish it. No really physical confrontation. Really save those 3 for the pay-per-view, because that's what everyone's going to pay money. That's what people are going to pay $60 to see, is those 3 beat each other up. So why give it away on Raw? So that's my review. Better Raw in the past few weeks, I'd say. And like I said, easy to sit through. And that's it. Leave your thoughts, and I'll see you guys in the next video.